once you get to the other side of the snake head and start to come back down, you can then find the top of the post area and start to come from that side and meet in the middle. Take your time and make sure this collapses down evenly. And take a look at everything to make sure all your creases are in place before moving on. But it should look like this. Alright. Next, we're going to take the paper and fold layers of it over these points, so that it's just 2 spaces wide coming up the middle. So kind of open up the paper here and take this next mountain fold and wrap it over this point here. It feels really uncomfortable when you're doing it, but that's what it should look like. And maybe take something pointed and just kind of make sure that that is lying in there. See how the paper points up into there? And then do that one more time. Take this and wrap it over that. Make sure to continue your mountain and valleys for your pleats. And one more time on this side. Okay, and then do that for this point also. So take 3 layers of paper over that point. There are different ways to collapse this model. I'm just showing you one method right now. That one went a little easier. Okay, you can see up into there how that works. The diagonal point is pointing into that corner. And then you're just wrapping more layers over that. And one more on this side. Okay. Now, you should be able to push the model all the way together and collapse it like this. Okay, so the model should look like this now. You want to take this longer end and turn the model around. These corners here are the snake's tails. You're going to start to collapse these down. So just fold along this diagonal crease. And then where it comes to the middle, start to sink that down as well. And then you see here at this point it starts to come back up. So when you get to those pleats, begin to pull the model from up here, these layers, and it should allow you to make pleats into those diagonal creases. And this travels all the way to the very center of the model. Kind of, once you get most of the way there, pinch here, and then start to bring this diagonal down to that corner. And right about here, this angle changes direction, so watch for that. Take it to about here and then start to open this one up now. And this crease starts to come back up as well. So maybe pinch there. Whoops. And start to bring these pleats together. these posts, they don't go all the way to the end. The apex of those, like the top of the post in the center, has a couple layers wrapped around it, but this is on an edge, so you just wrap them around like that. It might be easier when you're doing this to alternate back and forth between this side and this side. So I'll come back to this side and start to put this together the same way. Just be mindful of where your creases are pointing. And when they change direction, like right there. That central one has changed the direction. You can kind of open this all the way out now that it's done on one side. Oops. Okay, this bottom part is coming together like this, and then these angles would be easier if you put like this, and then start to flatten out the end of the post, the middle. As they start to come together. Now it should start cooperating more. You just have this one small section left here going into the portion that we've already collapsed. Bottom part is getting completed now. We just have to collapse the wings down, and all that will be left after that is some small adjustments before we shape the model with paper stiffener. So let me get this collapsed down the bottom and show you what that looks like. Okay, kind of like this, and then it's a bit awkward because we have this part of the paper folding down, so we can't fold it flat yet, but this is about what it will look like. You have this third of these posts coming back, the snakes, these bottom of the post, the top here. Okay, now do just this top part here, all of these pleats can stay vertical. Just start to fold these down on the top of this V section right here, which will separate two wings. Some of the creases for the wings aren't in the crease pattern because they're shaping elements. You're folding through a few layers to give them the feathered look, and you're altering some of the pleats as you do that. And also twisting the paper so that the white side shows up. Okay, now you can collapse this all down. If you work at it and fold it flat. If you put these in here, you don't have to do this though. I'm just showing you that at this point you can collapse the model down into a flat base, which I know is very important to some people. The only important part of this step is to get the wings side by side like this and flatten out this part here, like pushing in there, making like a diagonal here, there, so that this is flat. Okay. But again, if you take your time and you press everything together, you can get all of this to then lie flat. Ta-da! Okay. So I want to show you now the general direction to point all of these flaps in before we start shaping it. This part in the back here kind of looks like this, just gets folded flat against the longer part of the post. This is the bottom of the model. This is the top of the post. You're going to end up pointing that up. So this is the length of the post like that. These are going to be the tails of the snakes, so you can point these down for right now. Later they'll kind of get angled out to the side and wrapped around the model. These, you can twist the wings out to the side, and you want to be careful and try to bunch these layers underneath it evenly, but just to get everything in the right direction now, you can lift these up like that right now. That'll get changed a little bit later. These can just go straight up for right now. Later those will get changed, and the snakes actually get folded in half this way. So go ahead and kind of start to press those together like this, being mindful of how they appear in the back here. You don't want to mess too much with them yet because you want these layers in the back to be nice. But basically you fold them in half this way, carefully, and make sure that they're even. Okay. Alright, in the next video segment I will show you how to really shape this before we add the paper stiffener.